Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Sports Report After Dark. I am your host, Seven. With me is the dickiest dick that ever dicked Dick, Dan the
Hello,
Dick
sir.
Warner. What's up, buddy?
How you doing, man? Those are nice
Oh
headphones you got
man,
on there.
I actually really like these headphones. For some reason, my corded headphones won't work, but my computer has Bluetooth, and Bluetooth headphones work just fine. So yeah, I mean these are still studio quality. I spend too much on headphones anyway, so it works out.
I can tell. They're very nice though.
Yeah. So man, how's your week going? What's been going on?
Oh, that Yankees, the old Yankees, my friend. Old Yankees. Just sneaking in there. I see you wearing your Red Sox jersey. If I had me a pinstripes jersey, I'd be wearing it.
I like it. I like it when the season ends like this. I think it makes it more interesting going into the playoffs. You kind of have that energy, because you've got the wild card, you've got the close matches, and it coming down to the last day. Like I think the energy is different. And don't get me wrong, it's nice to just be sitting there like, oh yeah, no, we're going. Like we get to just sit and watch the wild card game, but being able to have that energy and at least coming down to the wire in some fashion, like I don't know, makes it interesting.
Yeah, it's causing me anxiety.
Oh yeah, I mean, between being a Chiefs fan and a Red Sox fan, like that's probably half of my anxiety problems right there, man.
My sound just turned back on, Tone. We're good.
There you go. Why not? And basketball's ramping back up. Got training camps going. Preseason games are gonna be starting here pretty quick, I believe. And good old Ben Simmons seems to be pretty dug in. Anything that you can think of that Philly can do to get him back on the court at this point?
Ben Simmons aside, my sound comes back on, my light goes off. It's one of those things. It's a normal occurrence around here. No, Ben Simmons has to give back what, 8.25 million, they said?
Yeah.
About 25% of his remaining contract. Does he deserve that? Yeah. Did he think that he wasn't going to get any money taken from him? Like they were just going to be like, oh yeah, absolutely, Ben Simmons, we'll just do whatever you want and also pay you all this money. No. I mean, that I feel like it's kind of a power move from the Philadelphia 76ers going, if we just put this in escrow, you ain't getting it back. Like you ain't getting it back. Good luck. I mean, you can come after us about it, but we'll also point out nine things that you did wrong to nullify your contract. Ultimately,
and that's the thing is they do have the position there, but Ben is he's pretty dug in on not wanting to be in that position anymore, and I don't blame him, first of all, and secondly, I just, but it's like, like what Embiid was saying, like Joel Embiid's comments, like, a lot of the things that they did to make sure that he needed the ball, I mean, whose side are you on in this stand with them? I guess that's my question. That's how I'll move into this.
Embiid versus Simmons?
As for like Embiid and the Sixers versus Simmons.
I always want to be on the player's side as far as like Ben Simmons versus the Sixers. Whatever's going on in the middle of that, we really don't know. I mean, is he upset that he fucked up in a couple of playoff games and he's getting bagged on? I'm sure. Did it make him literally force his own move out of Philadelphia? Probably. Right. But at the same time, like, I want to be on Ben Simmons' side on this. And it's almost hard for me to, because I'm like, all right. I mean, they gave you every opportunity to make a free throw. They gave you every opportunity to shoot shots that you should be shooting and not passing the ball. Like, this dude is so interlocked in whatever social media grip he has on himself that he is very, very concerned about what everybody else thinks. And like, how's this Like, if you don't think that a little bit in that game, like not in the moment, but in that playoff game last year where he just passes up the layup and they could have won that game. If you don't think in the middle of that, he wasn't just kind of thinking like, oh, I don't know if I can do this or not. And that once it gets to like, I don't really want to know if I can do this or this pressure is building on me. That's what the pressure we're talking about is that kind of pressure. And I think he put a lot of that on himself. And I think for a lot of the reasons, this has been Ben Simmons' fault. Obviously, I think this has been Ben Simmons' fault from the get.
I honestly, like, I kind of see, I do see both sides of this. Like, Ben is at a point where he's just like, you know what? I don't want to be here anymore. I'm not happy about this. And I understand that. I mean, especially with everything that's happened, like, it's one of those things where it's like, you've got to, Ben just feels like he needs a fresh start. And that's, I mean, I get that. I get that 100%. But in the same regard, like, he wants a trade, but nobody will give the Sixers right now what they need to get rid of him. They're not asked. I don't think with what they're looking at trade wise, I don't think they're asking too much, especially because of the money tied to his contract. But when you look at the truth with how he played in the playoffs, nobody wants to pay that.
No,
he's got to earn it.
Right. And you think, I mean, obviously part of that Sixers move to take $8.25 million is clearly a part of them trying to get a better trade situation, right? If he's gonna hold stand and say I want to trade, then they were like, okay, well, we're gonna take a quarter of this and it's not yours anymore. Like, I'm sorry, like we can't facilitate this. We committed a lot of financial resources to you at this point. You can't just run away from us. You can't run away from your problems sometimes, Tony. You really can't.
You really can't. No, and here's the thing is it's a valid point, especially from their side with the financial resources that they put into place. Getting rid of was it Jimmy Allen that they got rid of? Or
Butler?
Yeah, Jimmy Butler.
Yeah.
Jimmy Butler that they got rid of because it made the situation better for him. Like, I understand why Embiid's frustrated in this. Because especially because obviously, clearly, I mean, based on his comments, he didn't like the idea of getting rid of Jimmy Butler anyway. But, he is at least, trying to just be honest. Like, he's not being overly critical of Ben Simmons and saying, man, I'm glad he's not here. He can't shoot anyway. I don't want to deal with him anymore. Like, he's just frustrated with the situation, and I don't blame him.
I don't blame him at all either. Joel Embiid should be frustrated with the situation, and he clearly sees that his friend, I mean, they're friends. Like, he clearly sees that his friend is running away from a situation that, why did you have to, like, why? Do you know what I'm saying? It is on Ben Simmons at this point because Ben Simmons psychologically has a problem handling the pressure of the NBA. That is I don't even think that's like an opinion at this point.
No,
that's a clear fact.
This is very clearly a mental health issue with Ben Simmons. And
it is.
When we talked about this, like through the sports report and other stuff, and even through just you and my personal conversations after the season, after everything went down, one of the things that we were in complete agreement on was the fact that he needed to get some time into the therapist and get some mental health help. And with the way that this is going, I'm kind of wondering if that didn't happen. And I'm not saying this to belittle Ben for needing mental health help. I see a therapist every 2 weeks. I got medicine that I take every day. I am going to be critical of the fact that with the resources that he has, he's not getting that help.
Right.
When he's running from it. When there are millions of people that would kill for the opportunity to get that help that they need.
Right.
How could you not, at some point in that situation, go, maybe I do need to talk to somebody.
Yeah.
I don't understand it.
Just for After Dark fans, Tone, we're about to switch into a little bit of a different subject than just Ben Simmons at this point, which is great. I love it.
That's what this is for.
This is not about like Ben Simmons is a professional athlete, and I think that we often look past the fact that these athletes have been, oh, big men all time. We men all time. Ah, we need
Right.
we don't need mental help. We men. We win. That's how we get mental help.
And-
Shut the fuck up, you idiots. Like,
Seriously.
please get some help. I'm sorry I'm yelling, but like,
no,
please get some help.
No, you're exactly right. And it's like, it is not, I'm not being critical of Ben Simmons because he needs help. I'm being critical of Ben Simmons because he is very clearly not taking the right steps to get the help he needs. And
he won't admit to himself.
He won't admit it to
needs it.
himself. And when it comes to being a professional athlete, like even like D Ross, which really quick, a big shout out to our friend Derek Ross, big friend of the show. Definitely make sure that you check out his clothing line on Facebook, D39 Ross. If you buy something, make sure you let him know that you heard about it from us, because that does support our show. But you've got, when you're a professional athlete, your mind is one of your most important tools. And having your head in the game is crucial, because you cannot play at that level without making sure that your head is right, at least not for a long time, because eventually push is going to come to shove. Ask Richard Sherman, ask Deshaun Watson. You got to take care of your mind.
I haven't mentioned this name on this show, Tony, for over 3 weeks, but we might as well do it because it's all going to come back around anyway. LeBron James is the greatest example of somebody actually taking care of their mental health. He really does. Like, there's no,
Absolutely.
That dude is all about the mental health, all about the tranquility of meditation. Not a joke. He actually meditates. It's a real thing, guys. You should, maybe try it out.
You should meditate. I do.
It's a real thing. He's all about the mental side of it. And if you don't think that makes him look like he's just out there playing street ball at Rucker Park all the time, if you wonder like, oh, how's he so relaxed? Come on, man. This is a lot of pressure. Like, these guys are under a lot of pressure, and they do not take into account until they have a shot to take with 18 seconds left. And then they're like, oh God, this is a lot of pressure. Well, no shit, Sherlock. Maybe figure that out before then. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, you guys know you're under a lot of pressure. I mean,
Right.
Every day in their lives has to be that's a lot of pressure. There's a lot of people counting on you. You make a lot of money, right? Maybe figure that out. What? And they think it's going to take away from like their machismo, dude, for real.
Yeah.
Hey, but Tony, we just real quick on the end of this. It's tradition on the show that we at least do some form of marijuana before or during
and after.
Gummy. Gummy. It's kind of gross.
And of course, it goes without saying that there should absolutely not be any criticism for anybody that needs mental health help. We all need to be taking care of our minds, just like we need to take care of our body. And sometimes, even more, because your mind is going to outlast your body at its peak.
And it'll help your body too.
When you get an injury, you're playing in a game of basketball, playing a game of football, you roll your ankle, you're out for a couple of weeks. They don't just sit on the bench, not go into practice, and then wake up one morning, okay, ankle's good, and they start working again. And they start working doing the exact same shit they were before. No. Even professional athletes, like, they go through physical training, even when they're not injured, just on a regular basis. But when they're injured, they go through very specific training for their injury to rehab it and strengthen that area so that it doesn't become a recurring problem. When you're going to therapy, you are strengthening that area so that it doesn't keep being a problem. That's why I go to therapy religiously. It's the most important schedule. It's the most important piece of my schedule. And it's not something that I am willing to sacrifice for any reason. Ben Simmons has the resources to get every perspective and type of help that he can to help him move past whatever it has caused this hesitation. But now he is wasting not only those opportunities, but the opportunity that he has in the NBA to not just put up stats, but be an example of what you should be doing when you have mental health struggles. What Ben Simmons is doing is telling these younger kids that it's okay to just demand a refresh and not take responsibility for your struggles and work through it. Yeah. And I'm not okay with that.
Me either. Me either. That's what we're actually mad about right now, Tony. We just actually identified what we're both mad about is the fact that it's not that Ben Simmons can't make a fucking free throw. Dude, the guy is in the NBA, dude. Okay?
He can make more fucking free throws than I can with where he's at right now.
Absolutely. He's such a freak, dude. Like, he's such a freak. We understand. We're not bagging on Ben Simmons for any of his athletic achievements. Let's just be honest. Right? But no. I am going to sit here, and I think you would too, and we are going to bag on Ben Simmons about not taking the help that he has definitely been offered. Let's be honest here.
There's no way he hasn't.
What do you need? What do you need from us, buddy? What do you need from us? And he's just been like, fucking nothing, man. Probably just so I can move out of town. And we're like, the fuck are you talking about? Like, just stop being such a douchebag about it and get some fucking help.
And here's the thing. Like, Ben Simmons, I saw somebody try to, say, why are they being critical of Ben Simmons when people weren't critical of Deshaun Watson before all of the other issues came out? And here's the difference. Deshaun Watson, first of all, probably had a feeling that something was coming, was trying to get the fuck out before it did. Let's just take that. Let's just be real with that. But let's pretend that he didn't for a reason. Okay. He was dealing with the fact that he is a generational talent who is performing, who is getting jerked around by a disaster of an organization.
Is that wasn't? I'm sorry.
But Ben Simmons is having mental struggles, and the organization is providing the resources to him. And they're not even, and at this point, they're not even worried about having to trade him at some point. They just want to make sure they can get what they should get out of him. And that requires him getting back on the fucking court.
Right.
Because nobody's going to trade for him at what they would want now. And I don't blame him for sitting on it, making him get back on the court, because
hey, Tony, don't just throw hilarious puns in the middle of conversations and expect me not to like react to them. Like, for one, you asshole. B, like, yes, like, obviously we want Ben Simmons to be the best that he can be, to not be corny about it. Like, I saw LeBron quote the other day. Let's just throw LeBron in the whole show, just because I haven't got to get
your favorite thing.
I feel like it helps me with my natural, everything.
You've got LeBron Tourette's. It's okay.
LeBron had a quote the other day that he actually said that he told Ben Simmons when Ben Simmons was like 16 or something, when he was going to see one of his ABA games or something, not ABA. I'm talking about the league, the high school league. He told Ben Simmons that you have the potential to be better than me. You just have to apply yourself. I think it was something along those lines. Don't quote me on the whole thing I'm paraphrasing. But
I saw something about that. I think I remember that.
You got to get your head under control is basically what he was saying. Like, he was literally just saying, like, you got to get your head under control first, because I can tell you are just out. Like, you're all about, I think Ben Simmons might have been all about how famous he was for being that good of a basketball player. And I think he might have let a little bit of that go to his head a little bit too quick. Like, people were like, oh, this dude's the next. Colin Cowherd's up in here saying that Ben Simmons is the greatest basketball player since Magic and shit. And, like, he's listening to all of that, guys. He listens to all of this stuff. He's on all of those platforms and he's listening to all of that. And then you have, right? And then, so he might have got a little, he might have got a little bit ahead of himself on how good he actually was.
I think
he's a freak athlete.
Tell you what, we're going to continue this conversation, but we do need to take a break because I just realized we're about 5 minutes past when we should have. So we're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we will dive into more about Ben Simmons and mental health stuff. Stick with us. Don't go anywhere.
Telling me to dance, taking a chance. Telling me to dance, taking a chance.
Smell that from over here. Okay, so
all right,
thank
you for sticking with us. That first commercial was for Drop the Mic, which airs every other Tuesday, which it will be tomorrow night. You're right here on Pinfall 10 Eastern, featuring Josh and Pun as they dive into all things music related and break things down from album releases to whatever the hot topics are in the music world. Definitely check them out. That second commercial was for the Pinfall podcast, our flagship podcast right here on the Pinfall Network. It airs every Sunday night at 10 Eastern as Josh and Will go into all things wrestling related. It's definitely a great show. They break everything down for you. Josh watches far too much wrestling for somebody that's actually had sex. So he definitely knows a lot. Definitely check that out. Big shout out, of course, and a thank you to Raise Energy and repsports.com for sponsoring the Pinfall Network. You can use the codes XP or GGN10 or Pinfall on repsports.com for 15% off. And that does support the Pinfall Network and all of our shows. Also, Gamerware Apparel, you can use the code XP for 10% off on their website. Custom gamerware, including like if you want to get something with your logo on it. Really cool thing. We're going to be getting stuff for all of us here at some point soon. Definitely check that out as well. All right, so let's dive back into this Ben Simmons stuff, because this is and this is one of the things that frustrates me about this situation is the example that he is setting. And I know we kind of talked, we're kind of starting to work in this, and him being too much into his head. When you're that good of an athlete, 99.9% of what you hear is that crap. You're going to be the best. You're going to be better than LeBron. You're going to be the greatest. Michael Jordan will worship you. Like whatever these people want to fucking tell them. Okay. They hear that all the time. And you know what? For how good they are at that level and being a freak of nature, I can understand it. But the only way to be successful as a pro is to allow that to exist in a completely different dimension. Your world is just on that task, because the bullshit, the chatter is a distraction, good and bad. Now, here's the thing, the people that are around you to support you in your career, your coaches and your trainers and stuff like that, obviously they're important to listen to. But as far as the world, outside of that core group, if you're listening to this bullshit, you're setting yourself up for failure. You think LeBron spends time, stressing out over the fact that Skip Bayless,
yes,
isn't the biggest fan of his?
Yes,
and thinks that Jordan is better. You think Bron gets lost in that?
I think he does a little bit.
You think?
I think it's actually made him better.
About that guy in Kentucky that wears knockoff Oakleys that says I'm not watching the NBA until LeBron's off the field or LeBron's off the court.
Dude, okay, so we're talking about two different things though, because those are negative reinforcements that you're talking about. Skip Bayless is a negative reinforcement to LeBron James. If you don't think LeBron James listens to Skip Bayless and takes everything that Skip Bayless says to freaking heart.
Okay, you're right. Yeah, that was okay. Skip Bayless was a bad example. I'm sorry. I apologize. But that guy in Kentucky, or dude that's never been to an NBA game and has watched a couple of clips on ESPN once or twice, that doesn't actually know dick about basketball or what LeBron's actually doing. I think he listens to the criticism of those people on his game. No, he has a group of people around him that sole goal is to make sure that he can get better. That's what he pays them for.
You are only a man.
You are
only a man.
Yeah, exactly. You are only a man. Ben Simmons, especially with the money he's making, he's supposed to be getting it's a supermax contract, isn't it? That he's supposed to be on.
Yeah. He had 2 years on a supermax. I think he had 2 years left on a supermax. And it was like 40, 47, something like that.
Yeah, and if he sits the entire year, it's going to cost him like a little over 33 million. I think it's like 33.25 was the number I saw when I was looking through it on ESPN. But to be in that position, and yes, when you see, he understands, and I'm sure his agent has told him repeatedly how much money he's leaving on the table by sitting. So from that perspective, how deep into his head does he have to be for $33.25 million to not make you stop and go, wait a minute.
What am I doing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's not like he's made enough money in the NBA where he's fucking Bezos or something. That money should get his attention.
He's made enough money through the first couple of years of that contract to sit back comfortable, right? But the guy's, what is he, 25?
Mm-hmm.
What are you... Dude, you could make so much more. You are so talented. What are you doing? You're just being a baby about it, I feel like.
He's killing his future value about it. He's killing his future value because and I think it's going to get worse unless he gets onto the court and he just kills it and the shots aren't an issue. He's killing it in the fourth quarter, sinking free throws like he's fucking Westbrook or something, getting 80-90% at the free throw line. Let's see, can he do that? Is it possible he could do that? Yes. But short of him doing that right now, even if he comes back and starts playing, it's going to be hard to get teams to put the value that Philly wants for him because he's too much of a liability.
Because he's, and pardon my term, but he's being a little bitch.
He is.
He's being a little bitch about it.
You don't want that attitude in the locker room.
No. And if you don't think those other guys see that he's being a little bitch about it, I mean, pardon me. He's obviously being a little bitch about it.
Right.
And the whole point here, and I think you made a really good point earlier when you were talking about him, if he doesn't see the options that he has had, but he does see the options that he has had. That's the thing. We're working from a perspective oh, maybe Philadelphia never helped him. Or dude, they have tried to come to him. He has every option available to him.
And he's still not taking every therapist in the city if that's what it takes to get his head to where it needs to be so that he can be competitive.
Right? And he's literally just going, well, you guys already said I sucked though. That's what he's doing. You guys already said I fucking suck though. So I'm just gonna go somewhere else. Cause you guys already said I sucked. Instead of the best version of this story, Tony, and I think you would agree with me, is literally that if he just, they don't trade him. They don't do anything with him. He realizes about 10 games through that he's going to lose way too much money if he just sits there. And they come back and he actually tries to improve himself. Force this guy into a situation where he actually has to do something.
And
that's the best thing for
him. Them holding money back. I think ultimately that's exactly what they have to do. There's no question about it, because, and here's why I say that. Because if you're going to get anything near the value that you want to get for Ben Simmons, if you're Philadelphia, you have one choice, and that is to get him back on the court, dropping dimes and getting along with his teammates, because locker room chemistry is looked at a lot now.
That's the thing.
Especially because of the NBA understanding the importance of mental health. Adam Silver's not a fucking moron.
No.
I would not be surprised if Silver has personally called Simmons and been like, hey, look, dude, come on.
Adams, he needs to.
I mean, if he hasn't, he should.
Right.
But
yeah. Go ahead.
It really frustrates me, because like I want to, like you, I always want to be on the player's side. I want to be on the side of give him what he wants. This is a freak of nature. If he's decided he's done, he's one of the greatest players of a generation. He deserves the ability to go to somewhere else where he feels more comfortable. But he hasn't earned it.
No.
Sorry.
I was gonna say, like, greatest players, he has the potential to be one of the greatest players.
And that's the thing. And that's the thing is if that's where he's at in his head, because I'm working with the assumption that he's so wrapped up in this, you're good, that he's not seeing that he hasn't gotten to that level yet. He's still only 25. Chris Paul is now Chris Paul is now looked at as, one of the best point guards. He didn't get to that. If you would have asked me when Chris Paul was 25, hey, you think this guy's going to be one of the best point guards in the league? Nope. I would have been like, I mean, top 10.
Those Hornets years were pretty nasty. Paul was pretty nasty in those Hornets years. But so was Ben Simmons.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There was there's such an importance here for Ben to realize that because of the fact that he's not getting the help he needs, he doesn't have the leverage he thinks he has. Because honestly, and here's the thing, I could bet you money that if he had gotten his head right and people weren't wanting to, and teams weren't wanting to throw out what Philadelphia wanted, he shows up to training camp, and you have video of him running up and down the court, and then maybe you get a preseason game and it's just like, oh, okay, he's going, he's taking these shots instead of passing it. And you start to feel like maybe, even giving him the opportunity to lure you into a false sense of fucking security, you're still going to get more than just sitting.
He's still got leverage. He's going to create his own leverage.
At that point, he at least has some.
Right.
A couple of teams that are desperate might be willing to pick it up. But you've got, I just, at this point, like, he has nothing.
We've seen those work out for players where they're going to hold out, and we've seen them work out against players. Maurice Claret didn't work out real well.
Nope.
A guy like Stephon Diggs worked out well. All right. Got a lot of guys like Michael Thomas right now. What is Michael Thomas doing? Michael Thomas is going to wait out until next year, and then somebody's going to give him a big contract. Probably going to work out for him. It's been working out more, and these guys usually are showing up a little bit more, right? So, like, they're showing up, they're getting big deals. It's working out for them. I'm happy about that. But at the same time, if you're just going to be blatantly irresponsible about your duties to do that, there are some points, like you and me talked about a job that I had recently, right? Where I was trying to gain leverage over the company that I worked for. And I called you because I was like, hey, am I wrong to actually like ask for this kind of demand this from my company that I work for?
Oh yeah. Okay. And here's the thing. When it comes to a professional situation, it is important to understand your worth. And let me make that perfectly clear. Athletes feeling like they deserve more money. A lot of them, when they're saying that, typically, honestly, they do.
They do.
You know, but you're gonna have your Cowherds and your Stephen A's and your Sharps and Skip that are gonna, rip it apart and, oh, do they deserve it? These numbers, they're being greedy. You need to be team friendly because that's their job. But the ultimate thing is, on the business side of this, a lot of these guys that are digging their feet in because they want more money deserve it, and they're sick of doing the team friendly stuff because they're not getting the results that they were promised with the team friendly deals. And so now they're going to go to somebody that's going to pay them because they're no longer interested in being team friendly. They're going to be pocket friendly. What's friendly to your pocket? A bigger fucking paycheck.
Yep.
Ben Simmons has not earned that. Ben Simmons put himself into this position because of the fact that his mental health was not where it should have been. And here's the thing. He has had access, has and does have access to all the therapists. Hey, you want us to pay for you to talk to a therapist on your phone through BetterHelp? We'll offer him a sponsorship. We'll offer him a good deal on a sponsorship, and you can be the face of it and set an example. The Sixers would do that in a fucking heartbeat
if they knew it would work.
If they knew it would work, right. And yet you have Ben Simmons sitting here and pissing off Joel Embiid, which I wouldn't want to do that. I mean,
Good luck with that.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing is, like, at this point, like, now he has to go back, because at some point he's going to have to go back into that locker room. Like that's just the truth of the situation. Unless some team gets desperate, he's going to have to go back into that locker room. I wouldn't want to be in that room.
Tony, I think that's the best. I think that's, like I said, I think that's the best thing that happens though here, right? I mean, he has to go back in there with his tail between his legs and his head down. And he has to go, oh, fuck. Well, I'm not really that good. I need to probably shut the fuck up a little bit. Honestly, I think that's honestly the best thing for him.
In situationally, absolutely. I completely agree. However, the unfortunate truth is, unless he comes to his senses, I mean, who knows what's going to happen? I mean, is this kid really
help somebody
oblivious
who doesn't want to be helped?
Exactly. But is he really oblivious enough to think that it's going to pay off by waiting out and by sitting the entire year and throwing away $33.25 million?
You already got paid, bro. What are you holding out for? It's a pride thing with him at this point. It almost has to be.
He's playing chicken and he's going to lose.
Yeah. Because they have a lot more chickens on their side.
And this isn't even Russian roulette. He's putting a fully loaded 6-shooter to his head, spinning it like it's not loaded, cocking the hammer back, and just waiting.
You guys sure about this? And they're like, yeah, we are, because they're all in there. So if you want to, you can. And he's going, I'll do it. And they're like, okay.
I mean, we don't want you to, but you're at this point. And
we really don't want
and that's honestly, that's an accurate depiction, because it is honestly, if he doesn't get back on the court and prove that he's got it figured out, it's career suicide.
Yeah.
I hate using that word arbitrarily, but that's exactly what it is.
Tony, I'll put it this way. I'm going to ask you this. What goes better? Ben Simmons leaving Philadelphia like he wants to right now and going somewhere else, or him staying in Philadelphia, playing out the rest of his contract, and trying to get better? Which one works out, like, literally just in general, not even for Ben Simmons, that in general?
You're still looking at the second option regardless. And that's the thing is he got that Supermax deal, right? That's great. That's great. How are you going to get paid again unless you get your ass back on that court? Because if he doesn't, nope.
He'll just be Zach Levine. Sorry, Will. He'll just, he'll
somebody
just
like
be Zach
the
Levine somewhere, making a
Pistons or
good
somebody. Go ahead.
No, yeah, just like making a good pass and like maybe dunking it between his legs every once in a while, and everyone's like, "Oh yeah, Ben Simmons has some physical talent." He doesn't want to be that.
No,
He
I
has
mean,
potential to be so much more than that.
he's gonna be like, end up somewhere where it doesn't matter as a guy that sits on the bench and he's not making very much money because you don't want to put him in, you don't want to have to rely on him at crunch time. You want to be able to pull him off the court at crunch time and put somebody you can trust.
Tony, but also think about this. Ben's going to make good money for the rest of his career, no matter where he's at. Somebody's always going to give that dude a shot. Okay, so next 5 years, sorry, not the rest of his career. Next 5 years, someone's always going to give that dude a shot, thinking they're getting LSU #1 overall pick, Ben Simmons, right? They're going to do it. Okay, so he'll make money, but for him personally, he's already made money. It doesn't even matter if he makes money the next 5 years. He's already made enough money. For him personally, that's going to be so much worse because he's literally going to sit there and he's going to think to himself, what would have happened if I actually learned how to play basketball? It's what's going to happen.
I mean,
personally torturous to him.
Unless he gets his act together, the only way that Ben Simmons is a dominant player in the league is if they bring back slam ball.
They bring back what?
Slam ball.
Even then, dude doesn't have the mentality for it. Not gonna lie to you.
And that's the thing
he ain't going in there.
That's so what you're and that's the point of the conversation though. Is mentality is everything, and he is completely fucking wasting it. He's not just missing it or not getting it. He's wasting it.
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna take our last break here, because we are going to fucking end on time ish, because I have to work tomorrow and we've got a game tomorrow night. But we're gonna wrap up this conversation and talk about some of this other stuff. And
we do have a game tomorrow night.
We do have a game tomorrow night. But we'll be
game
right
on, Tony.
Game on.
Hail Hydra.
Pulls up like we do. No one does us like we do. Always go hard with this crew. Welcome to the show, let's make moves. Nothing's gonna stop us, it's not to get rough. Turn the whole room up, it's never enough. Let's go, 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 let's go.
And welcome back to the Sports Report After Dark. That first commercial was for Double XP, which airs Wednesdays at 8 Eastern, right here on Pinfall. That is Kay and Pun, diving into all things gaming related. They're sisters who talk gaming, talk about new releases, what's going on, and Tyler joins in. We have a lot of good convo. I've actually gotten into a couple of games because of that show. I'd never heard of Splitgate, but I play it all the time now. It's one of the games that I stream on my channel. And then Another Real Podcast airs opposite Tuesdays of Drop the Mic. That is Josh and Kay going into all things movie and TV related. Always some pretty good convo there. I will drop in from time to time on that when my work schedule allows. And then that last commercial was for the Sports Report, which airs Monday nights right here on Pinfall before we go on. It is at 10 Eastern, and that is hosted by Will and features me, the Dick, Tony C. Josh pops in from time to time as well, talking all things sports related. So definitely check that out.
It's for the record, it's Josh pops in from time to time, Tony C, the Dick, Will, and I. Sorry to correct you there, Tony, but you said me, and then you said a lot of other. I've just, sometimes your grammar I don't know.
You're kind of like a Britney Spears video. Better to watch on mute. I love you. Okay. So with Ben Simmons, so obviously we talk, the best case scenario is he goes back, he puts the work in and moves forward. What do you think, outside of obviously the money loss, what else do you think happens if he does dig his feet in and decides to sit?
What happens if he decides to just sit it?
Yeah, he decides to ride this out. What do you think happens?
He's obviously going to lose money. He already has. He's already lost himself some money. But it's just going to continue to make him look like he's being a little bitch about it. And I can't keep saying that enough. It just makes it look like, bro, go back in there. If you have to call a team meeting with these dudes after a practice and be like, hey, Ben wants to talk to you guys as a group. Have them all sit down, fucking suck it up, grab your nutsack, and tell them that you're being a little bitch about shit and you want back in, and it has nothing to do with money. And that's the thing. None of this shit has so much to do with Ben Simmons' pride and his money at this point. Does it not?
In Ben Simmons' pride has made the money a factor. Because here's the thing. If Ben Simmons had gone to therapy and was getting the help that he needed, and then when the Sixers came back to him and said, hey, look, we don't have a trade option right now. You need to put some time in and show that you can do this and that you've got the issues worked out and you're going to be able to shoot the fucking ball. And then we can find out where you want, and we can get you where you want to go. And he would have been able to be receptive to it. And he would be on the court right now. And we wouldn't be talking about the financial impacts of his decision.
Right.
It wouldn't be a factor. We will, because the money isn't on the table for it to be discussed. But now, because he has decided to sit on his thumb and keep sucking his ego, now, the thing that I've been getting stuck on with this, especially with, as the situation has unfolded and I've understood more about it. The other problem that teams that look at trading for him are going to have to realize is that's not going to be a good environment in the locker room at first. Because these other guys around the league are seeing what Joel Embiid is saying and what we're saying. They just can't say it because of their position, but they see it.
Right.
And so now we're at a point where, okay, so let's say just fucking arbitrarily, Golden State, hey, yeah, let's bring Ben Simmons in. Let's look at that. They're going to get to that, talking to some of the more veteran guys, calling Steph in, hey, What do you think about this? Nope. And that's where it'll die. That's where it would die. Is right. Just nope. Because Steph Curry's not fucking stupid. He knows exactly what kind of energy that's going to bring into the locker room. I mean, fuck, with everything the Lakers have got, and with the Lakers, I mean, obviously they don't need him, but I mean, let's say they hadn't, let's say they hadn't done everything that they've done, and they go to LeBron and say, "Hey, what do you think about Ben Simmons being available?" LeBron would fucking laugh and just leave.
I don't know. He's a clutch sports guy, man. They probably try to figure out some good deal to get him there. Let's be honest. Braun's a businessman. We ain't talking about Braun no more.
You see, but here's the thing.
Enough time on the show.
Braun knows. I don't know. I see that's the thing is I don't think Braun would want to put that energy into it, especially with where he's at right now. Where Ben Simmons is at.
Braun would quietly nix it. He would quietly be like, no. And they'd be like, why? He'd be like, no. They'd be like, oh, okay. That's it.
I will go play for the Suns. Like, the answer is no.
Yeah, like no.
Like Consuela from Family Guy. No. Ben Simmons no here. No.
You're supposed to buy Windex from your house. No. Yeah.
You need more lemon
pledge. No. No. Well, it also on Family Guy. I'll give you this one, Tony, where Peter is walks up to Sharon Stone, and she's like, "Hey, Peter, you want to have sex?" And he's like, "No."
Yeah.
He starts laughing. He's like, "No."
I remember that.
And it goes on for like 15 seconds. That's what he's going to like. She'd be like, "No."
Have you seen this week's episode?
The what?
This week's episode. The episode that just aired last night.
I need to catch up. No, hey,
it is holy. Like, especially with our musical background, like when you watch this episode, you're gonna shit your pants because it's all about the Doors. Yes,
they talk about the Doors.
The Doors, like, oh my god, bro!
You didn't tell me this, but yeah, I'm gonna check that out for sure. The only other time they reference the Doors is in the Robin Williams episode. It's called Fat Man and Robin. Where everything that Peter touches turns into Robin Williams. And he touches the door at one point, and it's Robin Williams, and he just goes, "It's the Doors, Robin Williams," and he just goes, "Ladies and gentlemen, the Doors." That's all it is. It's fucking great, dude.
But yeah, completely rip. They completely rip on the Doors in this episode, just so that you're aware.
They rip
fucking
on the Doors.
Fantastic.
No, that's fine.
Oh my God.
Everybody does. It's fine.
I
love the Doors.
But yeah, no, and that's the thing is
they weren't talented.
Ben Simmons. Here's. I wouldn't say that Ben Simmons has less of a trade market right now than Deshaun Wilson comparatively, I'm sorry, Deshaun Jackson, Deshaun Watson. What fuck ever. I'm too tired for this. I wouldn't say that he has less of a trade value right now comparatively to Deshaun Watson, but it's fucking close. Unless he gets back on that court.
Tony, I feel like we're really tiptoeing some fragile ground there when we even compare Ben Simmons to Deshaun Watson. You're just saying trade value. I know that you are, but let's not put ideas in people's heads that this is even the same kind of situation, right? I wouldn't even put the Deshaun Watson thing in the Michael Vick thing. Like,
oh no.
Deshaun Watson is already much more. I feel like Deshaun Watson should be much more maligned. And has he been convicted of anything? No. But at the same time, dude, if he was doing any of that, that's worse than Michael Vick. Sorry. I love dogs, man. I'm a huge dog fan.
Honestly, no, here's the thing. You're not wrong. Like, and that's the plain and simple. As horrible as it is at what Vic did, and let's be clear, I don't support any of those actions in any way, shape, or form.
Fuck no.
I would trust him with a dog like I would trust Casey Anthony with a daycare. But the unfortunate truth is Ben Simmons has no trade value right now. There is not a team in dire enough straits to take that risk. And that's why Philadelphia is like, dude, you got to get back on the court. Until he does.
How far do you think it would go? And I don't think this is actually going to happen, but like I'm just fantasizing now. What if Deshaun, or not, sorry, Deshaun. What if Ben Simmons goes back into that room with all those dudes in there and he just comes straight out with it? Like, hey, man, I was fucked up from what the media said about me, from what happened at last year's playoffs. I felt like there was a huge amount of, I felt like I let you guys the fuck down. I want back. I want to come back. I want to not let you guys down. Like, and he's honest about it. And he actually tells him, and he says, hey, Joel, I didn't want to let you down, bro. Like I didn't want, and I failed in that. And I felt like I failed so miserably that I want to run. Okay. And I don't want to run anymore. I just want to come back. Like, I just want to come back. Do you think that would not?
I think it makes a difference. And I think that it helps Ben be able to be in that locker room and actually get talked to. And there not to be this huge negative energy in there. Because I'm sorry, right now, the way it stands, if Ben Simmons just shows back up, he's like, all right, fuck it, let's just do this. And he doesn't approach this from a humble position. I would not want to be anywhere near that locker room.
They'll kill him. They'll kill him. Not quite literally, won't kill him, but they'll kill him.
Exactly.
They'll eat him from the inside.
He has to. I mean, I would go as far as saying, you walk in and you look at Embiid and you say, hey, I agree. They shouldn't have had to trade Jimmy Butler for me.
Just go to everybody.
You've just gotta basically, short of getting on his knees and sucking off every player in that locker room.
That's ironic.
I mean,
it sucks, but you gotta you're gonna have to, man, nut up. That's what I was saying earlier. Fucking nut up, bro.
Like, he's gotta
just go nut up and go back. It's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Those guys are gonna respect you more for being like for literally like kind of getting on your knees, like not bowing to them, but being like humbling yourself. Just humble yourself real fast and be like, hey, I fucked up, man. This is fucked up.
He needs to own it.
Own it.
I mean, I understand that it's a mental health thing. But because he's not owning it, he has no credibility. People always, a lot of people talk, comment about the fact that I am so open about my mental health struggles. Okay. If I don't talk about them, then I, and get the help that I need. It's like sitting there with an open wound on your chest. You don't do anything about it. You don't cover it. You don't clean it. And so it festers and it gets more infested. And you just don't do anything about it. You walk through the entrance of the Walgreens, and they've got the little minute clinic right there. And the doctor happens to be standing out there for some reason and sees the wound on your chest, goes, hey, come in here. Let me get that cleaned out for you so it doesn't get worse and we can actually, you're fine. No, I'm good. Just walk in, walk back out, go about your merry way, not doing anything about that wound. It will kill you because of the infection. And that is exactly what Ben Simmons is doing.
Tony, and how much that is to do with the fact that physical wounds will kill you a little bit faster, but emotional ones will kill you slowly for your entire life.
And that's the thing, is because you can have been killed by an emotional wound and still be alive. Like, look at Shoeless Joe Jackson. Let's use Shoeless Joe as a prime example here, because I think this is a great example for this as we wrap this up. Shoeless Joe gets banned from baseball, tries to play in some independent leagues, and Major League Baseball comes down hard on those leagues and says, hey, anybody that plays with him, same team or against, banned from the league. Basically, effectively blackballing Shoeless Joe from what was his life. He lived and breathed baseball. It's the only thing he cared about. And we flash forward to probably been somewhere in the range of about late 50s, early 60s.
I was just like 62.
Yeah, it's like late 50s, early 60s. You have Ty Cobb walks into a liquor store that Shoeless Joe owns. He's going to buy liquor. He says, Joe, you recognize me? He's like, no. And he's just, and it finally comes out and he finally admits it, it's him, Shoeless Joe. And he goes, I just didn't think you'd want to see me. Just owned a liquor store. And I remember reading some stuff that Ty Cobb said about this in different books as I've researched it. And Ty Cobb actually said in one of his descriptions that he, like, if it wasn't for his eyes, he wouldn't have believed it was him. He looked like a completely different person and he looked completely dead.
Nothing behind those eyes anymore.
I mean, and that's that thing is baseball was Shoeless Joe's reason to be happy. And it got ripped from him. Ben Simmons is in a similar fashion to Shoeless Joe, a transcendent talent with so much potential. Ben Simmons has the ability to do something about it.
He needs to make sure one event does not change his future that drastically. He needs to do it right now. And that's really what we're feeling right now. That's what we're both feeling for him. We're both mad at him because we're looking at him going, hey, bro, you need, like, this might change the directive of your entire life.
And I want to wrap up with this statement, is that mental health for men this is how it should be. We shouldn't have had to establish at the beginning that we're not being critical of him for needing help. That stigma shouldn't exist.
Right.
And I have a fucking problem with that.
Right, me too. Hey, you fucking pussy, Tony, fucking pussy.
And
get the fuck out of here with that shit, man.
When I was in high school,
that's some high school bullshit.
It is. And here's the thing, and the truth of this. When I was in high school, I had a mental break and I almost took my life. And there were people that found out about it that allowed the word to spread through my classmates. I lived in a small town, lived in Cameron, Missouri, north of Kansas City. About 12,000 people in it. And it's just not a horrible place. Not a horrible place, but if you look up Cameron R1 High School, the amount of problems that school has had with bullying and students with mental health issues is just unfucking real. That district doesn't know a fucking thing about how to take care of kids.
Not Missouri, they know everything. Just kidding.
I had my mental break, and then I tried to go back my junior year. I tried because at that point I could still have gotten back, maybe one semester at the alternative school, and I'm caught back up, and I can still graduate with my peers. And between the end of August of 2004 and the first week of November, when I dropped out of school my junior year, at least 3 times a day, I was ridiculed for being in therapy. I was ridiculed for being suicidal. I was ridiculed for not killing myself, even though I was at that point. I'm serious.
I know.
This is how mental health is seen. And I think, and I honestly believe that stigma could be contributing to why Ben Simmons is not getting the help he needs. Because when you come up in that kind of environment, you spend all this time believing that you're that good. They just tell you, mental toughness. You got to just believe that you're tough, and you will be. And so this stigma around mental health is one of the things that has been instilled around him enough that he doesn't feel that he just may not believe it's the right thing to do because he doesn't know any better.
Yeah.
And that shouldn't exist.
Not at all.
There is, and I know that and this is not a racial thing or anything like that, but I know that this stigma is definitely present in the communities of people of color because of how critical people are of them. So it's one of those things where I feel like we need to be putting more emphasis, not just on, Ben Simmons getting help, but this stigma shouldn't exist. And
We're
it's
just
not just that
highlighting. We're just highlighting a very high profile version of that stigma, are we not?
right, exactly. And you're, it's not just that the stigma shouldn't exist. It's like homophobia shouldn't exist. But it's not just about not, it's not just about not, hating people that are homosexuals. It's about actively being engaged. And when people say stuff that they shouldn't or try to do things that they shouldn't to homosexuals, you have to be actively engaged in preventing it and defending those individuals. It's a two-way street, because you can't just say, oh, we're not going to say bad things about people that need mental health help anymore. That's like saying, oh, we're not going, that's just like saying, oh, we're not going to, we're just not going to talk about the race of who a cop killed in media reports anymore when a cop shoots a person. It doesn't solve the fucking problem.
No.
And
I'll tell you a short story real quick, Tony. I was at the counter of a Planet Fitness one time, and a dude who apparently felt like he knew me because I'd been there a couple times while he was there, comes up to me in front of the person who's working behind the counter and goes, "Oh man, look at this!" And it was clearly just it was a trans person, okay, clearly a very large trans woman, okay, and he said, "Oh, look at this." I can't remember the actual term that he used, something freak or it was basically like calling her a freak is what he did. And I still regret to this day that I didn't say anything. And you know what it was? Is it caught me off guard. Is what happened. I literally went, this motherfucker really just say that shit out loud? Like, while I'm questioning it in my head, that's when I'm supposed to be responding to it. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, it's that quick. Like, I should have just said something about it immediately, and I still feel bad about it that I didn't say something, because I was just like fucking dumbfounded at the ignorance of this person to literally in the place that says there's no judgments, like quite literally inside the place that says there's no judgments.
Judgment-free zone all over the fucking walls. Of
judgment-free zone. There you go.
Yeah, I used to.
I get a judgment right next to me, and I'm like, and I didn't respond to it, and it wasn't because I didn't want to. It was because I literally just didn't understand what just came out of this dude's mouth. Like, I was like, is this dude for real right now? Like, I had to literally like kind of do this thing, like, what the fuck is wrong with this guy? And my chance was gone. And I was
and the deer in the headlights thing happens, and I think that can happen to us in any situation, whether it's sexual harassment, seeing something that's racist, something that's sexist, something that's, bigoted, whatever it is. Those deer in the headlight moments are going to be happening. But if we work more to be actively engaged in getting rid of these stigmas that exist around mental health and therapy, we would be in a much better position as a country and as a world, because we would better be able to understand each other. And then, and also, like, people are more successful when they take care of their mental health. As I have taken care of my mental health and, followed along with the regimens that my therapists work with and stuff like that, like, not only do I feel better as a person, I'm more productive. I fucking thrive. Like, I mean, 3 years ago when I wasn't medicated, I was a fucking basket case. And this guy can fucking tell you I was not in a good place. Now, granted, neither was he, but hey, we both gotten better. But like, getting into that
talent recognizing talent, Tony.
Talent recognizing talent. Getting into that position where I was able to get the help that I needed made me a better person. I'm a better comedian. I'm a better writer. I'm a better husband. I'm a better dad. I'm a better gamer.
You're a better person.
I'm a better person. And so the stigma has to end actively. And Ben
There's-
Simmons need to get the fuck to work.
Ben Simmons, go admit some shit to your fucking teammates, you weirdo, is point
Mhm.
one. Number two is, hey, Ben Simmons, it's okay that you're a weirdo, bro. We are too.
Yeah.
Number two is there's not just stigma. Oh, sorry. Number two was we're separating where Ben Simmons has always been the coolest fucking person that he's ever been around, right? Everybody who is around Ben Simmons thinks he's the coolest motherfucker that has ever walked planet Earth. Seriously, think about it. Like, you're just your personal friends and everything. Think about if you were in that position. Think about all that stuff you would be getting. We're trying to literally sit here and say the next person I sit here and that says that, oh, he's making all this money and he's an NBA superstar, he should be happy. Shut your fucking mouth unless you actually know what you're talking about. Like, that's ridiculous. Just because outside circumstances, like, I know people who have no money, have nothing, nothing in the apparent quotation world, and they're the happiest people on the planet. So
Absolutely.
if you want to sit here and tell me that all this fame and all this fucking money is making this any better for these guys, what the fuck are you talking about? In all likelihood, it's making it a lot worse, is what it's doing. Just because this guy is healthy physically does not mean that he is healthy mentally.
Mo money, mo problems is a true fucking statement. Don't forget it. It's seriously, it is. It is.
Yeah.
But all right, so let's wrap it up tonight
I'd like
because
some
I'm
more
really
problems.
fucking tired. Because I mean, I like some big stuff. I'm sick of having small money problems. It would be nice to have big money problems for a while, like just to see what it's like.
Maybe we try it out for a little bit.
I mean,
just to,
you know, where's like where's the free 7-day trial of that? Like,
hey, real quick, Tony. My third thing was the stigmas with mental health. We need to get rid of the stigmas with everything. We need to get rid of the stigmas with religion. We need to get rid of the stigmas with mental health. We need to get rid of the stigmas with drugs. Guys, please start educating yourselves about things before you speak about them. And that might sound hypocritical coming out of my mouth because I've definitely said uneducated things before, okay? And if someone points me out on those things and says, hey, this view might be a little bit different, guess what the fuck I do? I look from that view. I actually try and look from that view. I might not actually look from that view, but I freaking try, okay? Can we just start freaking trying?
It is like I use Facebook memories, you know. I love it. You know, I look at my Facebook memories every day because I've had a Facebook since September, October 2006 when I was at Mo West. Okay.
Yeah.
That's when I got a Facebook for the first time. And so now, like, as I go through memories, like I'm at this point where I've got 15 years of Tony every day that I get a peek on where I was at that point of those years.
Yep.
And so that has given me the ability to see my own growth and also look back and go, oh, hey, wait, I was fucking wrong there. And the ability to delete some shit so that I don't get canceled if I ever get famous, but that doesn't count.
Do not stranglehold your opinions, Tony.
You know,
Do not stranglehold your opinions.
I think one of the reasons why I've learned so much in my life is I am always open to being wrong.
I'm actually trying to figure shit out, and that's actually the annoying part to some people. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, they're like, oh, why? I'm like, because I want to know more about it. Like, I'm trying to figure it out. Like, I know you guys don't want to fucking talk about it, apparently, but like, what's going on here? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, what's going on underneath this? And they're like, no, it's been like that forever. What does that matter? If there's clearly something wrong with it, why does it matter that it's happened forever?
Women were sexually harassed in the workplace for like 40 years. We finally fixed that problem. Just because it happened for forever doesn't mean it should.
No, because nobody could actually go, yeah, I feel threatened by that. And people were just like, oh shit, yeah, that is kind of threatening. That's all it took. It's literally all it took. It was like a quick like, oh shit, yeah, that's kind of, we should probably change that. Like, how hard is this, guys? It's okay. I know it's hard, it's difficult, it's intricate, but We'll get there. Just keep trying at least. Jesus.
No. We'll figure it out at some point, hopefully. But
I hope, man.
fuck, we can do better than the way we're doing it now. That's for damn sure. I'm just saying,
It's slowly improving, Tony.
slowly.
Hey, I'm a glass half full type of guy.
That's not half
Okay.
full though. You drank a bunch of that.
This
That's
is
like
not half full, but you get the point.
Yeah.
Okay. Hey,
All right, man. Any final thoughts?
nothing. I love you, buddy.
I love you too. Hey, we'll talk some shit tomorrow.
Oh, good God. Next Monday should be super fun. I might just come on here. I might just come on here and just have a Yankee symbol as my whole screen for the
I would
whole
not
time.
be surprised. If you don't have a Yankees jersey on next week, I will be disappointed in you. I'm just saying. Chances
Depends
are
what
you're going to
happens
see
tomorrow.
me in this Red Sox jersey again unless I get it.
No matter what. No matter what.
Okay. All right, man. You have a good night. I love you. And
See you guys.
we'll see y'all next week.